Poland has a reputation problem. For many outsiders, it's seen as serious, conservative, and emotionally closed. The kind of country where people don't smile unless there's a very good reason, and Polish women are often placed right at the center of that stereotype. But here's the irony. The more time you spend in Poland, the more you realize that this image says more about foreign expectations than about Polish reality. What looks like coldness is often discipline. What feels like distance is usually control, and what many mistake for rigidity is, in fact, a society that learned to survive pressure without falling apart. And nowhere is this misunderstanding more obvious than in the way Polish women are perceived. Before we continue, a quick note. This humble channel is still just getting started. So if you're watching from anywhere in the world and enjoy content like this that helps you understand the world a little better, consider subscribing and leaving a like to help us reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year. Now, let's get into it. For many visitors, Poland feels reserved from the very first interaction. People are polite, but not overly friendly. Conversations are efficient, smiles are rare without context. There's no cultural pressure to perform warmth for strangers. This immediately creates friction for foreigners from more expressive cultures. In places where friendliness is shown through constant smiling, small talk, and emotional openness, Poland can feel stiff or even unwelcoming at first. But in Polish culture, emotional economy is valued. Saying less, but meaning it is considered more honest than exaggerated friendliness. Respect is shown through boundaries, not through enthusiasm. You don't earn trust by being loud. You earn it by being consistent. Polish women grow up inside this framework. Public behavior is calm, contained, and intentional. Emotions are not absent, they're simply not broadcast. One of the most misunderstood traits of Polish women is their communication style. It's direct, serious, and often stripped of unnecessary politeness rituals. Compliments are rare. Opinions are not softened to protect feelings. Silence is normal. This doesn't come from harshness. It comes from clarity. In Poland, honesty is usually valued more than charm. Saying exactly what you think is considered more respectful than pretending to agree. As a result, Polish women may appear blunt to outsiders, especially in professional or unfamiliar settings. There is also a strong sense of self-control in public. Emotional expression is seen as something personal, not performative. Laughing loudly, oversharing, or seeking constant validation can feel immature rather than confident. Ironically, this restraint often creates the opposite effect. Once trust is established, relationships tend to be deep, loyal, and emotionally intense. Polish women don't open easily, but when they do, it's usually real. Polish women are among the most educated in Europe. Women make up a majority of university graduates, and participation in the workforce is high. Financial independence is common, and relying entirely on a partner is often seen as risky rather than romantic. This mindset didn't appear overnight. Poland's history, shaped by war, occupation, economic instability, and political pressure, taught entire generations that self-reliance is survival, not ideology. At the same time, Poland remains culturally traditional in many areas. Catholicism still influences social norms, especially around family and motherhood. This creates a contradiction that Polish women navigate daily. Strong independence alongside traditional expectations. Many women balance full-time work with a disproportionate share of domestic responsibility. Equality exists on paper more than in practice. And yet, rather than framing this as constant conflict, many Polish women approach it pragmatically, adapting, negotiating, and choosing stability over slogans. This combination of discipline, independence, and realism shapes how Polish women move through society, not loudly, not performatively, but with a quiet sense of control that outsiders often underestimate. Polish women are often described abroad as exceptionally attractive. This reputation travels fast, especially online, and usually arrives wrapped in exaggeration. Tall figures, sharp features, elegance, the narrative is familiar, but inside Poland, beauty is treated differently. It's less about spectacle and more about discipline. Looking well presented is expected, not celebrated. There's social value in appearing composed, intentional, and put together, but not flashy. Makeup is usually clean, not heavy. Clothing is chosen to look appropriate rather than provocative. Even in social settings, attention-seeking tends to be subtle. The goal is not to stand out in the room, but to look like you belong there. This creates an interesting contrast. To outsiders, Polish women may appear effortlessly attractive. To locals, it's simply normal behavior. Appearance is part of self-respect, not performance. The mistake foreigners often make is turning this into fantasy. Polish women are not trying to meet external expectations. They're operating inside a cultural framework where discipline, care, and restraint are quietly rewarded. Foreigners often go through the same emotional curve when interacting with Polish women. The first phase is confusion. Conversations feel serious. Smiles don't come easily. Emotional signals are minimal. Some interpret this as disinterest or coldness. The second phase is misinterpretation. What feels neutral is labeled as unfriendly. What feels reserved is mistaken for arrogance. Expectations clash with reality, but those who stay longer usually reach a third phase, adjustment. Over time, many foreigners notice that Polish women are attentive, observant, and surprisingly warm. Once trust exists, humor appears quietly, often dry and ironic. Emotional connection develops slowly, but with depth. Interestingly, foreign women living in Poland often describe local women as strong, capable, and mentally resilient. Some foreign men, on the other hand, struggle more, especially if they expect constant emotional feedback or overt flirtation. The difference is rarely about attraction, it's about cultural timing. To understand Polish women, you have to zoom out. Poland is one of the safest countries in Europe. Public spaces are orderly. Daily life is predictable. People rely heavily on routine, structure, and planning. This stability reduces the need for exaggerated social signaling. There's also a strong culture of criticism, especially self-criticism. Complaining is not negativity, it's social bonding. Ironically, expressing dissatisfaction is often more honest than pretending everything is fine. History plays a role too. Poland learned repeatedly that survival depends on discipline. Emotional restraint is not repression, it's adaptation. That mindset didn't disappear with modernity. Women reflect this environment. Calm behavior works because the system supports it. Independence feels normal because safety and structure make it possible. Polish women are often misunderstood because they don't perform emotion for comfort. They don't advertise warmth, they don't rush intimacy, and they don't adjust their behavior to meet foreign expectations. What looks like coldness is often control. What feels distant is usually caution, and what seems traditional on the surface often hides a modern, pragmatic mindset underneath. Poland itself works the same way. It's not loud, it doesn't sell itself easily. But once you slow down and observe, the logic becomes clear. Discipline before display, substance before performance. And if there's one thing Poland teaches outsiders, it's this: warmth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it waits to be earned.